What an absolutely beautiful scene, right? Look at that water behind me. Look at the sand. Look at the cool fishing pier. This is Juno Beach. I'm in Juno Beach, Florida, and today we're gonna visit Juno Beach and Jupiter, two towns in the north part of Palm Beach County, and I'm gonna show you some of my favorite sites. These are some of my favorite beaches in Palm Beach County. Both towns are pretty cool. Juno has about 3,700 in population, and Jupiter has roughly about 67,000. Both small towns here on the east coast of Florida, but we're gonna go and explore these two cool towns, talk a little bit about the history and some cool sites. So let's get out and feast on Florida. So it's about 10:30 on a Thursday morning here in Juno Beach. And as you can see behind me, if I spin around, pretty much have the beach to myself. There's some people down at the other end, but it's early. It's currently about 88 degrees out, although it says it feels like it's 112, but it doesn't. There's an actual nice breeze coming in off the ocean. And this is one of our favorite beaches to come up to because, well, for one, it's really not that crowded. And even when it is crowded, there's so much beach here, you can get privacy if you want to. But really cool place. My son's done some surfing up here. The waves are pretty good because of the pier. And we're going to go talk about the pier in a little bit. We'll go over there. That's a great place that I've gone fishing on with my kids, and we come up here to watch the sunrise when my wife and I first started dating. And it's a cool pier that was built back in around, I believe in 1999. There was another pier before that. We'll talk about the history of all that in a little bit. But man, it's beautiful up here. So this is one of my favorite beaches. Now, what I like about the beaches up here compared to, say, Boynton Beach where I'm at, even though we do have some sand dunes, but if you look back here, see how it has all the sand dunes going up, and then all the sea grapes, I think they call them, and all the vegetation. So it's real pretty, and so it kind of goes up and then comes down. So you got that sand dune, and you come down over here, the steps come down. So really just, it's kind of cool. The beaches up here are a little, I guess, wider, a little different. And other than some condos in the background, it's really beautiful. So, and then of course the fishing out here on the Atlantic Ocean is, it's great. You can go out here and do all sorts of fishing, surfing, and swimming. It's a great place to come check out. So today we're gonna go check out some cool stuff, some of my favorite sites here up in Juno and Jupiter Beach. This is a great part of Palm Beach County, and it's really got that cool Florida vibe. Both are small towns, and they kind of like it that way, and I do too. There's some cool places. I think we're gonna check out a super cool coffee shop. If we get a chance, there's a great microbrewery just a little north. It's not technically in Jupiter, it's in Tequesta, but it's called Tequesta Brewing Company. And so we'll go by and hopefully stop over there. But this is a place where if you just like to come out and definitely enjoy the beach life and outdoor life, then both of these little cities offer that, because there's a cool park we'll check out, and we're also gonna go check out a very cool lighthouse today. But as you can see here, it's just nice on this Thursday morning. It does get crowded on the weekends, but there's some people up there fishing, a lot of guys and girls at the end of the pier where they like to get out there. And there's some huge fish caught on this pier, big snook and all sorts of fish, especially in the spring and the fall, especially when they got the mullet running. You'll have tons of people up here fishing, and I've spent many a days fishing with my kids on this pier. It's one of the better ones to come to in Palm Beach County. Matter of fact, in Palm Beach County, other than the Lake Worth Pier, there really aren't too many piers to fish off. There's this pier and then the Lake Worth Pier. So this one's a little better, and we like it up here. And as you can see, it's, people just kind of chilling out, but it's kind of like having your own beach. Good day to come out. Pro tip, if you come to the beach in the summer, like I said, it's about 11 o'clock now maybe, and the sand is hot. Put my flip-flops back on. It's hard to walk on the beach with flip-flops, but make sure you bring flip-flops, and this sand heats up real quick. right, so here we are at the very popular Juno Beach Pier. It's about $2 to get in for a spectator, like myself, I'm just looking around, and it's $3 if you want to come in and do some fishing. And they have a nice little store right at the entrance where you can get ice and drinks, even a lawn chair if you need, I mean, even a whole fishing pole if you lose yours over the edge, which I've seen happen, and of course some bait and tackle. And I remember coming here, it was always great because after being out in the hot sun for a while, the kids would want ice cream, so we'd go there and get a nice treat. So that's kind of cool. And then as you can see, the pier runs all the way down here to the end, and we'll head down there in just a minute. So this isn't the original pier. The original pier was built about 1.6 miles south that way, and it was built in 1950. And that pier was there until about 1985 when a hurricane took out the midsection of it. They tried to repair the midsection, but they never could. It also had a two-story sort of building. So kind of like back there where they have that little, shack, little store. They had a store where you could get fish and tackle. It was 2 stories. And then on the top of it were apartments. But I guess the fire department was doing some practice drills because, again, they couldn't fix the pier, and they burned it down. So that ended that pier. So in 1999, they built this new pier, which is now 990 feet long. So, and this one's been here ever since. And I think the old pier is probably just made out of wood. This one's made out of concrete, steel, and it does have wood. And it looks like they're due for some repairs on this one. And it's salt water and the sun, and that just the weather in general, man, and all the people walking on it day after day really tears it up. So I'm sure they'll come in and start replacing these planks as needed. No, you got my way. You can't have it. So you see they got some benches you can sit out here and just kind of chill out and put your gear. They got some shaded spots. I got 2 shaded spots that you can sit under, especially when it gets really hot out here after a while, and especially in the summer it will. But you see people out here catching fish, and there's all kinds of anglers here. You've got pure rats, the guys that are here all the time that grew up on the pier, the guys that fish constantly and they're really good. You get some guys that are really great anglers here, and then you get other people that are just here with their kids, and guys like me that just want to come out here and have some fun, bring a sandwich, do some fishing. If you catch, you catch. If you don't, you don't. You're still enjoying it. It's a great place to hang out. So, but usually down here at the end, it's a lot of the serious guys, and they have a lot of gear. So you really got to kind of watch where you're putting your fishing gear and not getting your lines tangled. But this guy here just caught a nice little fish, got a little mackerel coming in, and another little fish he caught. So, but it's pretty cool. Let's go over to the end. And of course, they got other cleaning stations. You can, fillet your fish and clean it if you want, and rinse your gear off. So you probably can't see it way out there, but if you look, I'm trying to point my finger at that boat that's all the way out there, there's a weed line out there. It's a lot of the sargassum grass that's been coming in. We've had, obviously, if you watch the news, we've had tons of that covering all of our beaches, but there's a little bit out there, there's another out there, and you see that boat out there. Those guys are probably trying to catch some fish. Usually it's a good spot if you're out trolling. Dolphin will be under there eating the smaller fish, and they look like they're stopped, so they could just be getting bait right there, but that's usually a good spot. So,
what is this?
You caught the big one, huh?
Come here, Matt.
Someone caught a needlefish.
Look what you caught.
Oh my god.
Another big jack.
Oh my god.
Pick up, I gotta flip the fish.
Mike, that's too small, Mike.
Oh.
Too small.
So my son used to catch these fish all the time. The gentleman helped the little boy get it off. That's a Jack Crevalle. They're fun. They're nothing you're gonna eat, but they're fun fish to, they fight really strong. So you see the big tail at the end. They're really good for just a good fight, especially on some light tackle. So anyway, it's a cool place to come out and fish and hang out. I was just talking to this nice lady. They're down from DC with their family, and they're staying at one of the condos back over here. She says she's been coming down here since 1985, and she had her son with her, and he caught a Jack Crevalle. You can see how excited he was catching that big fish, and they're fun to catch. They're a good fight, especially on the light tackle. Feels like you're pulling in a whale. So I remember my son catching his, and me catching them. They're a lot of fun. So, but it's a cool place, great place to come out here and just like fish, enjoy, look at all the beautiful water, and we saw a shark go by, and you can see the boats going by. So Juno Beach Pier. And I'll have a link for you guys to check it out. But we got some more stuff to go check out, some more history, and it's warm and I need something cold to drink. So let's head out and go see what else we can find here in Juno and Jupiter Beach, Florida. So this building right behind me is a World War II U.S. Naval Housing building, and it was built around 1939. And this was what they called the married men's quarters for the Navy. Now this is where they housed some of the naval officers, and their job here was to watch out for the German submarines that were known to be off the coast of Florida during World War II. So they would house these officers here, and they have like 6 bedrooms. Each had its own little fireplace, and it has a screened front porch that faces the inlet. And we're right over here behind me. There's the inlet that goes out to Jupiter Inlet, and we'll go check out that. But we are here on the grounds of the Jupiter Lighthouse. Now the building right now is closed, but normally this is the office and the museum, the administration office and also the ticket office for the lighthouse, but it's closed right now. I'm not sure why it's closed, but I know they got us construction going on, because you can see over here we had to make a little detour, and they're rebuilding the Jupiter Inlet Bridge. So you can see all the construction going on, and they're putting up all new stuff here for the bridge. Normally this place is packed with people hanging out. It's a great place to come out here and picnic and kind of just sit here, set up towel. Kids can play down here in the water. You're right, watch all the boats go by. Back over here is the world famous Square Grouper Bar, where Alan Jackson filmed his 5 o'clock somewhere video. And that's right back over here. And there's some other great restaurants over on the other side. I'll show you that in another video, but that's a really fun place. And if you come around here, watch my step. So you look back out here, out that way, there's the inlet. All the boats coming in. And we'll go over there in just a little bit. All right, so here we are at the world famous Jupiter Lighthouse. And this lighthouse was conceived in, the concept was conceived in 1851. It took about 8 years. It opened up in 1860, and it's made out of brick. As you can see, it's a beautiful red lighthouse. Now, it wasn't originally red, but as over the years and, you know, the oxidation and being the ocean and just, you know, the sand and all that stuff, I believe they decided to paint it red somewhere in the 1900s. I don't exactly remember when they painted it, but now it's this beautiful red lighthouse, and it's got the cool Fresno lens up there. We'll talk about the lens in a minute, because there's some cool facts about that. Now, this is a working lighthouse. An interesting fact, I'll use this as my little pointer. So it was first lit July 10th, 1860, and it stayed lit until the Civil War, where some Southern sympathizers hid the lens and the mechanical gear, and it wasn't working during that time. But back in June 28th of 1866, they relit it, and as you can see, it's actually been lit and never missed a night for over 100 years. So it's a really cool lighthouse. You can see it for miles around. You're out coming in, you know, from boating and fishing in the evening, you see it, and it's really neat. So we're gonna walk up there because there's some dark clouds rolling, and they will tell you can't go up if it starts lightning. So for safety reasons, obviously. So I believe it's 109 steps to the top, 109 or 111. They did tell me to leave my backpack. They don't want me to bring that in. So, but let's head on up. It's really hot, and we're gonna get up there, and it's a magnificent view from the top. We got the green light, so we're heading up. We're gonna hopefully beat the storm. So it's 105 steps in the lighthouse, plus these 35 that I'm walking up now. As you can see behind me, it's a little steep. It is getting windy, and the rain clouds are coming, so we'll hope. If we have to wait it out a little bit, we'll wait it out a little bit. So this is a cool place, so let's head up and get your leg workout on this day. All right, and here we go inside. This metal stairwell. It's cool. So they used to use lard oil, and this right here is a 100-gallon lard oil tank. And it's a replica of one that they would have used to run the light. Everything's by electric now, but that's what they used to have to run it on. Pretty cool. So, all right, you ready to go up top? Let's go. 105 steps. side of the Fresno lens, and this is a Fresno lens that was actually shipped from Paris. And I'm talking to Joni, one of the workers here and historian about the lighthouse, and she said there's a label that is down here. You can actually see, where's it? Oh, it's right here. She pointed right in there. It's gonna be hard for y'all to see that, but that shows that it was actually shipped. And you guys, look at this. They don't have it working right now because the bridge work, but you can see the light there. And what's neat about this is it's one of only, I can't be exact, we'll look it up and I'll put it in the video afterwards, but I think it's one of 3 or one of 8 actual Fresno lenses that are still actively in place and working here in the United States. All right guys, we made it up to the top here of the Jupiter Lighthouse. As you can see and probably hear, the wind is whipping, and well, you can see a storm coming in. So we're gonna try to get as much video as we can here. We may go inside for a little bit and come back out. Wow, it's really blowing. I'm gonna get on the other side of this wall, and look at the views up here. It is stunning. I've been here 3 times, it never gets old. It's a beautiful lighthouse, and that's looking west. So if we look out here, that is the bridge we talked about, parked right over there. So this is the inlet, and goes all the way up into the Intracoastal Waterway. And then we spin around, that's looking north. You can see the ocean and the Intracoastal Waterway going up that way, heading north, that goes up to Stewart. And if we come back around here, and look, you probably can't see it from here, but way back out there was the pier that I was at earlier today. But let's take a look at these views here, man. This place is beautiful, even with the rain. So as you can see, it's still cloudy and rainy, but it's not lightning, so I can come out, but I'm just being cautious because I am 100-something feet up in the air and slippery. But it's really pretty as you see the storm come in, and from this angle right here, you can see that we're looking at the inlet. And that inlet has some cool history, and we'll go talk about that in a little bit. That's a fun park right over there. We're gonna go over there after this. So that's DuBois Park, and we've gone there. Great place to do Sunday picnics with the family. We've, again, some fishing. It's also got a jetty right on the right side as you see that boat going out. And there's a jetty, and a lot of people do fishing over there. So we'll head over there, but here's all the ground. You can see a lot of the grounds here that, you don't see these, but they got some homes here and stuff. So as I said, this place was occupied by the military for years, from the Navy. So they got some homes and stuff around here. You can see some of the old houses that were left. And then if you look out west, you see the rain that's going past us. It's just pouring down rain out there. I'm not one for heights, but this is cool. But look at the view above my head. Look at that up there. All right, and just like that, and the storm blew over, which typically happens here in Florida. And you got blue skies and aqua colored water once again. So this place is cool. I definitely recommend coming here. Now, I told you it was $10. It was actually $12 for adults for me. So they do have discounts for kids and senior citizens. And I believe they're closed on Mondays. So you want to check. And again, all the places I visit today, there'll be a link in the description down in the video so you guys can come check it out yourself. But this is a great way to really just see what living in Florida is like and how beautiful it is here, especially up in Jupiter. And as you can see the boats going out, and just, and also if you look down here, the water, the change from the water coming in and the water here on the, the intercoastal going here. And look at the sailboat back here, the catamaran. So boater's paradise for sure. But this place is really cool. And if you come down here, it's definitely a must. You want to visit the Jupiter Lighthouse. So, all right. So as I told you, that's DuBois Park over there. We're going to go check out that, because that's another neat place to go, and lots of fun, good place to bring kids. They've got a neat little area. I'll show you where it's kind of shallow and the kids can play. And you also got the inlet right there. We can do some fishing, and there's a beach there, and there's some more cool history right there at the inlet. So let's go check out that. All right, so I'm going to show you going down, which is a heck of a lot easier than coming up. You can see the stairwell is metal, and you can see all the way down to the bottom. Now, it has a handrail, which is great, but it didn't back in the old days. And so when the guys used to have to bring up the lard and the oil, which I showed you down below earlier, that 100-gallon container, there's little notches here like that. And I guess they had something there that they could hold on to, but those guys had to bring up that lard, turn it back around, all the way to the top. And they had supply ships that would bring them new oil every 6 months. So they brought them everything they needed for 6 months. But that 100-gallon container that you saw used to hold it. And then there's a little house right on the outside of the lighthouse, and that was the oil pump house. So now everything's electric. I think they said they went to electric somewhere in the 1900s, but this is cool. Got these windows with a great breeze. And it does get really hot. So this might be one of the coolest little coffee shops I have ever found on my adventures on this channel. Look at this place. So it's sort of like a coffee shop, art shop, and it's called The Locomotive. And grab a seat right here. This is cool. So we're up here on Jupiter. We're on Center Street. It's 105 Center Street in Jupiter, Florida. And I heard about this coffee shop. They used to have it out of an airline. What do you call it? The RVs, the Streamline or whatever, like the Airstream. So they used to have it out on Airstream for many years, but this has been something like the girl told me 20 years in the making, and they've been open for about 2 years. But super cool, just a neat place, man. Everyone's just kind of in there chilling. It's a lot of students in there. It looks like people doing work and studying or just enjoying coffee. But what a neat place. And so I went with this, which is ridiculously good. It's a French toast latte. I love French toast, and this iced latte is just so good, and it's really hitting because it's scorching out. So cool place. If you ever come up here, you'll find that I love really unique coffee shops. I'm always going to try to find the most coolest or unique coffee shop at every city I go to. So this one's definitely on the top of the list. But I'm going to enjoy this coffee. We're going to head over to the inlet. I told you there's some history over there in DuBois Park, and we're going to head over there right now. Cheers. All right, guys, so we are over here at DuBois Park. As I showed you from the lighthouse, this is a park over here. It's right on the inlet, the Jupiter Inlet and Tequesta waterway, and it's a great park to come out to. And we'll go walk around here and show you in a minute, but I want to talk a little bit about the history. So this is called the Jupiter Inlet Midden, I guess, and this is the DuBois house. So the house is sitting on what they call a mound. You see it says ancient shell mound built by the I guess the Jaga, I think that's how you pronounce it, Jaga Indians. And they were first spoke about by Jonathan Dickinson back in, was it 1699. And this shell mound is the site of the village of Hobe, where the Dickinson shipwreck. There was a shipwreck here, and this is where the victims were held captive by the Jaga Indians in 1696. So this is a pretty cool piece of history because this is one of the oldest historic homes, oldest homes here in Palm Beach County, and it's called the DuBois house. So I'll come over here. Luckily I have all these great plaques to help me. So built in 1898 by Harry and Susan DuBois, and It's an old house that reminded him, I guess, of his house up in Jersey. They call it the house on the hill. So originally it was a single-story house, and as the family grew, it became a two-story house. They do tours here, but I missed it. They do them Wednesdays and Thursdays, but the last one's at 12:45. So I'll have to come up here again sometimes. I've actually never been through a tour, and it looks pretty cool. But this is a neat place, and of course you can see it's built on what was an Indian mound, and so there's a lot of history here. And this just gives an example of the old style homes that were built here in Palm Beach County. All right, so the park consists of a couple things. You obviously have the DuBois house that you can go check out. Again, only on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So, and only till 12:45, that's the last tour. But then you got these shallow areas here where they got all the rocks here. You can see the rocks they built along here, letting the water come in. And then you got these little sort of like, I guess like pool areas, natural pool areas that you can go and snorkel in. And you can see people over in the back there snorkeling. So I've gone over there and snorkeled with my kids. We've gone fishing. We've stood right out over here and done some fishing. And it's basically right here on the Jupiter Inlet. And if you look over my shoulder there, you'll see the lighthouse where we were just at a while ago. So it's right over there. And so this is a really neat place. So it's great to come out here, shallow, perfect for, you know, families. They got kids, but we've come up here just to hang with me, the wife, and some of the family. We've come up here with the kids. We've done like Easter up here, and Fourth of July, and other holidays. So, and it's really cool. And you see they have it kind of pretty much roped off back here, so you're, you know, pretty much safe. And as the tide comes in, it goes through here under this bridge. And as we go over the bridge, I'll show you, there's a whole section back there where the water kind of goes, and it creates sort of like a little lazy river. So you can get on a raft and just kind of float and meander all the way to the back there. And it's great. It's lots of families. It's got a beach. There's a lifeguard. You can see a lifeguard. Everyone kind of, you know, goes there and, you know, sets up places where you can picnic. It gets really crowded. So I will tell you, especially in the winter, this park gets packed real quick, especially on a weekend, and they will like block the entrance. So make sure if you're gonna get here real early, and I mean like 9 o'clock early. But you'll see over there, it's really kind of a cool little place, and that's perfect because it's great for little kids and toddlers. It's shallow, and a lot of families like taking their kids there. My son, we used to take him there when he was real little. And then as you see, it goes over and it walks down towards the inlet, back down this way. We'll go there in a minute. And you go over that way, and you got the park, and then you've got the jetties. You could do some fishing. And then you go further down, there's the whole jetty. You can fish off that, watch all the boats come in, and then there's a beach. There was some history over here, right? So you know that Spain discovered Florida for the most part, and they were coming here for years. They're also coming from Central America, coming up. You know, the county north of us, up in places like Fort Pierce, it's called the Treasure Coast for a reason, because there's the big shipwrecks over there. Well, this cannon was recovered in 1987 right out at the mouth of the Jupiter Inlet from the San Miguel de Archangel. It was a ship that was going back to Spain, and it had quite a bit of treasure on it. So there was treasure found here. So in 1987, a Jupiter Beach lifeguard named Peter Leo first discovered several cannons and anchors at the Jupiter Inlet. Matter of fact, we passed one of the anchors back over there at the entrance to the Jupiter Lighthouse. They have one of the anchors. And so he found this, and it was they created the Jupiter Wreck Inc., JWI, and they were formed in 1988 and acquired the necessary permits from the state of Florida to excavate the treasure in 1990. So they basically went out here and started excavating, and they found treasure. And all this is very interesting because I just got back from Spain myself. We went out to Barcelona, Madrid. We were out there for 7 days back in June. Amazing trip. Saw everything that you know that country had to offer as much as I could in 7 days, and it was incredible. And we did go to the palace in Madrid. So this ship, the San Miguel, had treasure going back to the King of Spain, but it you know, hit a storm and it sank. So they found a lot of the treasure, but not all of it. So apparently there's still the mother lode, and they think it's somewhere offshore and the other part drifted in, and they figure if they ever find that part of the ship, they'll find a ton more of silver and, you know, treasure. So really cool, kind of exciting. So if you're a treasure seeker and you come down here to Jupiter, Florida, and you got a lot of money because it ain't cheap to do that, and you got to get the rights, then you could go out here and do a little treasure hunting yourself. But again, you got to have the rights to do it, so don't just go start digging. Now, if you watched my last video, which I'll have at the end of this video, a link to it, I was talking about one of the most dangerous inlets in Florida. Jupiter is also one of those. It is a very dangerous inlet. A gentleman told me today again, and I didn't know this, he says the Coast Guard doesn't even recognize this as a navigable inlet. But I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but he was a boater, so he would know more than I would. But the water is absolutely ripping right now. It is just running out, outgoing tide, and you can see the waves back there. So this is all the jetties. So you see the jetties right here. And so this can get really nasty. There's a lot of videos on YouTube you can see, but it can be a pretty treacherous inlet if you don't know what you're doing. Even the guy that I was talking to that worked at the Lighthouse talked about swamping his boat. Luckily it was a very reliable boat and it didn't sink. It was unsinkable, but he said he took on two feet of water on it, so it went down, hit the wave ride. I guess he let off the throttle and swamped it. So this guy just kicked up his gear because he's fighting that outgoing tide. So when the tide comes in and it's higher, we used to do some fishing right here. You got to be careful, right? It can be slippery, but it's a good spot to do some fishing. There's some huge snook down in here at the right time of the year. You still got to watch out because the current's going to throw your line into these rocks. I've lost so many lures and lines over here. But you see some guys all the way over there at the edge. So they're doing some fishing right there. And I guess it's, outgoing tide, so we'll see how they're doing. But as you spin around, you got the beach. Again, pretty empty, right? For a Thursday in August. Pretty dead. Amazing. So you can get the beach to yourself if you want to. But, on the weekends it's pretty crowded. And this gets really crowded down here too. It's super hot out, and it looks like it's going to start pouring rain again. So that's the Jupiter Inlet and DuBois Park. A really cool, fun place to come out. Lots of things to do and hang out and relax. Really just living that Florida lifestyle, man. Like, you can sit out here with your family or yourself. You can fish, you can boat watch, you can bring the kids, you can picnic. It's a great park. It's one of the better ones here in Palm Beach County because it has so much to do. Like I said, you can come out here and fish, you can hang out back with the family and grill. A little place for the kids. There's some shade, there's little shallow places. It kind of has it all, and well, you can't put a price on this view, man. This is one of the most spectacular views here in Palm Beach County. It is beautiful. Somebody lost their hat. There it goes. All right, if you find a straw hat with a blue undercarriage to it, or blue floral, you send me a message here on Feast on Florida and let me know you found that hat. It could be in England, it could be in North Florida, it could go to the Bahamas. Never know which way the current's going to take it. I think the current pretty much Gulf Stream runs north, so I don't think it's going to go to the Bahamas. But you never know. It may end up out there. How cool would that be if someone actually found that hat and sent me a video? Now that'd be cool. If you find that hat, you better send me a video here at Feast on Florida. Hey, by the way, you guys want to help this channel grow, I can really use your support. So you know what to do, right? You're going to go and you're going to click subscribe. You're going to click the little bell so you can get notified every time I make a new video and when I go live, which I will be going live in the future. There's some cool events that I have planned, and we'll just go live and I'll live stream those. No editing, right? Just kind of cool. Those are fun, so keep an eye out for those, and if you click the bell, you'll get notified. Then you want to go and watch the video after this one. That's a cool video, and it talks about one of the most dangerous inlets. And then lastly, leave a comment down below. Tell me what kind of videos that you would like to see on this channel. Like, what kind of places in Florida would you like me to go and show you? I'm based in South Florida, so Palm Beach County, And so most of the stuff you're gonna see right now is gonna be, you know, Jupiter, Boca, West Palm Beach, but I have plans to go to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, north of places like Stewart, Fort Pier, so all those places here on the East Coast, even the Florida Keys. And then eventually I'll make my way up to places like, you know, Jacksonville and Orlando and Tampa when the wife and I do a little bit of traveling. So a lot of it will be here in the south, the east part. But there's a lot to show you, a lot of cool stuff. So be sure to help me out. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, for my last stop, I made it here to Tequesta Brewing Company, just a hair north of Jupiter in the town of Tequesta. It's actually one of the first microbreweries that I'd ever visited about 11 years ago. So, and they make some good beers. I got what's called the Chancellor. This is a great beer. It's not too heavy, it's not too strong, and it's quite refreshing here on this, really hot day. But there's been a constant breeze the whole day, so it hasn't been too bad. The Tequesta Brewing Company is actually one of the first microbreweries in Palm Beach County, and they're still open here, so going back to 2011. And I remember coming up here on a bus tour of breweries that was like for this thing called Florida Beer Week, and they hit all the craft breweries back when craft beer was really exploding. And so we hopped on a bus in Boca, met at a place called the Funky Buddha before it was even at their big place down in Fort Lauderdale. And then we came all the way up here to Jupiter. They had beer on the bus. We had some beers here. Then we went down to Due South, which is now closed, which is in Boynton Beach. That was one of my favorite breweries. And then we ended up at some place in Boca that's also now closed. It was like a restaurant, brewery, kind of a hybrid, and they're not around anymore. But they make good beer here, and it's a cool place. Crowd in there, a lot of locals hanging out. It's not a huge brewery, just a nice size, and they make some good stuff. This is definitely a good one. But so that's Jupiter, Florida. Hope you guys liked it. Jupiter and Juno Beach, Florida. And you know, if you want to check out any of the places that I showed you today, just, you know, click the links. I'll try to provide those for you. Also, if you want to support this channel and help me keep growing, go to buymeabeer.com/feast on Florida. Just look it up. It's a great way to help support YouTubers like myself. You can buy me a beer, you can buy me a coffee. It's actually called Buy Me a Coffee, but I like to alternate it for Buy Me a Beer. So I'll take either. But if you want to support me, I appreciate you going there. And yeah, I hope you guys liked it. Please leave a comment down below. Hope you like everything I showed you today. And if you're ever here in South Florida, check out these two awesome little cities. And 5 o'clock traffic, man, it's getting noisy. So, all right, guys. Well, when you're heading out to Florida and you want to check everything out, be sure to check this channel out first. And get out there and feast on Florida. Cheers.